Be my guest, be my guest, be my guest with Sean Boy Joe.
Havakazoo, we are the crew. We're not sure what we're doing here, we haven't got the clue, but we'll have some fun, and so will you. Havakazoo, Havakazoo, Havakazoo. Havakazoo, Jason. Havakazoo, Gabrielle. Havakazoo, Beau. Havakazoo, Messi. Havakazoo, 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 Havakazoo.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Be My Guest podcast channel with me, your boy, Sean Boy Joe. And today I am back with another podcast, and it's a video podcast for you all because I know how much you love these video podcasts, and it's always a treat to do them as well. And guess what? I have a treat with me right now. Yes, my guest today is a renowned composer, writer, TV presenter, folk, and jazz singer. Wow, do I have to give you an introduction? No, I don't, because it is the fabulous Vo Fletcher. Welcome to my podcast channel. Be my guest.
Yeah, I'm delighted to be here.
Oh, brilliant. Absolutely wonderful. Well, it's absolutely tremendous to have you on the channel. We're going to talk about your life, of course, and
it's been a long one so far.
We're going to be. Whoa! How long have we got? Well, we will get through the nitty gritty of everything you've done, I'm sure. Now, as I do with all of my guests, I like to go through a timeline and start from the very beginning. Talk to me, Beau, about a little Vo Fletcher growing up in his growing up days. Were you from that sort of musical background as such?
No, my parents didn't play anything, but they like music a lot, and I guess I first got into music hearing the radio as a kid.
Right.
You know, there was a program on Saturday morning called Uncle Mac's Children's Favourites, which I was glued to as a child, and it specialised in children's songs, and it was songs like Nellie the Elephant, and which I'm sure you know.
Yeah.
And, Windmill in Old Amsterdam, and the Teddy Bear's Picnic, and it was stuff like that. And yeah, so I like that. I used to listen to the radio a lot and sing along and whistle along as a child. And then I guess I got into rock and roll a bit because my mum would buy records that I considered to be quite sort of sloppy. If Elvis Presley put out a ballad, she'd buy it, but the B-sides were usually rock and roll. So something sloppy like That's When Your Heart Aches Begin, I'll be going, oh no, it's too awful. But they turn it over, and the B-side was something like All Shook Up or something decent.
Yeah.
So I got into music a bit like that. Played in the school brass band, aged about 11 and 12, which I quite enjoyed. Then started playing guitar at age 14. By that time, the Beatles were were all the rage. And I had to play the guitar. It was compulsory. I had to. So I got a guitar, started playing with a few friends, joined a band, was playing guitar within a few months of getting one badly, but put the hours in and practice. That was the time of what you might call the British blues boom. I'm talking mid-60s here, which was a great time to be around. Because there were in Birmingham, where I'm from, there were loads of good blues clubs. So you could go to a place called Henry's Blues House on a Wednesday and see the likes of Fleetwood Mac, Jethro Tull, Free, Savoy Brown Blues Band, Chicken Shack, all those guys with some great guitar players.
Yeah.
So that Henry's Blues House on a Wednesday, Mothers on a Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. The Metro on Mothers on a Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. The Metro on a Thursday. So almost every night of the week, you can see some good stuff. And I'm talking about really good players. Obviously people like Peter Green, but Paul Kossoff. I mean, they're great guitarists. And I remember at the time sort of willing my hair to grow. So I've got to have longer hair.
Yeah.
Then started playing acoustic guitar, played electric guitar, joined the band, went to Germany, did all that, sort of, playing 5 or 6 hours a night for very little money. But came back from Germany, the band was much better than when we left, because it was, it was hard work. It was stupidly long hours, but it's what you did. It was in those days, it was almost compulsory. You had to join a band, you had to go to Germany. It's what the Beatles had done. Because the Beatles have done it, we all thought, yeah, great, that's what you have to do.
Yeah, we'll follow suit.
Yeah. Then at the same time, I was playing acoustic guitar as well and getting into doing folk clubs. So I almost like a dual career. So playing electric guitar in electric blues bands and acoustic guitar in folk clubs. So did that for years and years. Did a bit of voluntary work at a psychiatric hospital in Rubery in Birmingham. That's since been knocked down, which basically involved doing sing-songs for the old dears. Which was lovely. I mean, it was singing songs like Daisy Daisy and My Old Man Said Follow the Van.
Oh yes, yeah.
But although some of them were in, quite a sad state and almost had, very little short-term memory, the long-term memory was still there. So, even though some of them didn't know what day of the week it was, once you start singing those old songs, they brightened up.
Absolutely.
So we used to go around the wards with a trolley full of tambourines and drums, and maracas and stuff like that, and a little battery amplifier and microphone. So you could give somebody who was very old and very frail, give them the microphone and they could be heard. So I sort of play along, they'd sing songs. Often I wouldn't know the songs they were singing, but you learn them.
Yeah.
And you learn, it was a good ear training because you learn to follow what people are singing. So you find the key they're singing in. And of course, you play and you sing the song, they get a big round of applause from everybody else in the ward. So they feel much better. So that was, it was music therapy. It was a form of music therapy.
I believe you owe some of your career to a certain guitar player. Talk to us about Eric Clapton and his guitar.
Oh, you heard that story, did you?
I know that story.
Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, well, I saw Cream, and it was amazing. I mean, I was absolutely stunning. And then afterwards, a couple of mates of mine and I went backstage to see if we could talk to Eric because I just got my first decent guitar, my first Fender Strat. And he was lovely. He was absolutely great. And we chatted about guitars. And I said, because he was using this Gibson SG. And I said, I've got a Fender Strat. He said, yeah, I love them. I use them all the time. And I said, the SG's nice. He said, yeah, help yourself. Have a go on it. It was on the settee in the dressing room. It was not plugged in, obviously. So he let me have a go on his guitar, which was great. Great. I thought, this is fantastic.
So envious. Wow.
Well, it's kind of like, it means a lot when you're, how old was I? 15, 16?
Yeah.
When somebody who's a guitar hero takes time to talk to you, and chats about guitars, and then lets you have a go on his guitar.
At such a young age as well.
It means a lot, yeah.
Such a young age, because I remember I must have been about your age, about 13, and the very first song that I ever performed live on stage was "Tears in Heaven."
Oh right, yeah, great song.
And everybody thought, well, for somebody of my age, and I'm only 30, I'm a baby, to be singing a song by Eric Clapton, which was probably 30 years prior to my being born, they were quite shocked to that. But yeah, I am very much influenced by a lot of those artists, as I can see you are. One of the quotes that really resonated with me when I was researching up is a quote that you said years ago, which was that if God wasn't in the room with me, then God's guitar is.
I was talking about Eric Clapton's guitar.
Yeah, and that was beautiful. I thought, that's really quite something.
They used to call Eric Clapton God.
Yeah.
Back in the day, they written on walls here, Clapton is God.
Yes, absolutely, yeah.
He hated that. He hated that sort of thing.
Did he really?
Yeah, he wanted to be called God.
No, of course not. No,
it was all that hero worship, and Eric was never really into the hero worship thing. It's interesting. I mean, the good players aren't.
No.
I mean, Jeff Beck, bless him, he died a few months ago.
Oh,
he was never. He was amazing. I mean, I saw him not long before he died. I saw him in Birmingham at Symphony Hall. He was great. I've seen him several times. He's always one of the greatest in the world.
Yeah. And another influential person to you, who I think is very underrated as a songwriter, is Mr. Have a guess.
No idea.
Well, he can't sing very well, but he can write songs. We're talking about Bob Dylan, of course.
Oh, he sings great. I disagree. He's a great singer.
Oh, okay.
He's fabulous. He's great. I
know he's a brilliant performer.
Some people don't rate his singing. I think he's absolutely genius.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I love his singing. I love his way of putting a song across.
Absolutely.
He doesn't sing like Frank Sinatra, but it's just a different style of singing.
He sings his way, and that's it. Yeah.
I think he's a great vocalist.
Absolutely.
He gets the point across in the song. He gets the emotion across. Yeah. And that's
absolutely. And may I remind some younger viewers that there are lots of songs that Bob Dylan actually wrote that other people covered. That was one of those people that covered "To Make You Feel My Love." I mean, Bob Dylan wrote "Wagon Wheel." He wrote all these amazing songs. So
you're right. I mean, there's a lot he wrote. I mean, he wrote I mean, in this country, Manfred Mann had a hit with the Mighty Quinn, Queen the Eskimo, and that's another one of Bob Dylan's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And recently you wrote a song about him, didn't you, to celebrate his birthday on one
Oh
of your
yeah, you've heard that one, yeah. Happy
I
birthday,
have.
Bob
It's
Dylan.
wonderful. I've heard all of your songs on the latest album. It's brilliant.
Oh right, great. Yeah, well, that was I nicked the tune of that. That was not only a birthday song for Bob Dylan. It was to the tune of when he wrote "Ode to Woody Guthrie."
Yeah, I thought so.
I pinched the tune of that he did.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was my little tribute.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I heard that album. Yeah.
Yeah, Blues and Beats. Very
There's
sort
a
of
couple of Bob Dylan songs on that.
up to date in terms of, it's got that sort of, classic country vibe to it, as well as the blues and the jazz, but it's also very, very relevant and very up to date. It's very earthy. It's a lovely album.
Well, thanks. I'm glad you like it. I mean, the reason I started that during lockdown, because you know what it's like during lockdown.
Yeah.
I did a Facebook show every Tuesday night. I called it Wine O'Clock. So every Tuesday night at 6 o'clock for an hour, I did this live show, and it was great. I really enjoyed that. But I started using some software to do the show that provided some of those loops and stuff. Yeah. So I was sort of getting into that. It was a bit of a challenge at first. It took a few goes to get it right, because when you're doing a face, as you know, you've got to get the right bit rate up to the cameras. I mean, I don't know if you're using a camera, whether you're using your phone or what, right. but you got to get the right.
We've all made the mistake.
Oh God! I mean, so many pilot errors. You wouldn't believe it. I mean, I had to make myself a list, an idiot list.
Oh gosh!
A checklist.
Yeah.
And one of them was like, wipe the lens of the phone, because it's been in your pocket. It's going to be dusty.
Yeah.
Picture of your smearing. Yeah. Another one: turn the phone off.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Because if you have a call in the middle while you're filming with your phone, it'll interrupt the program.
Yeah.
And sort of stuff. And also make sure that the camera isn't going to go to sleep after 2 minutes or 5 minutes or whatever.
Oh gosh, I've done that before.
I had to make myself this idiot checklist.
Yeah. I had to do that when I first started this. Make sure you can hold a conversation, Sean. Yes, tick. I can do that, I think. Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean, the joys of learning through lockdown as well. It was the first time I was ever going live during the lockdowns to actually perform myself. Never done that. You found a whole new audience. So
and it was lovely. I mean, I had about sort of 40 or 50 people most weeks from all over the world. I mean, people from the States, people from Scandinavia,
right?
Spain, Australia, all over the place. It was good.
Yeah. So you spoke to us. You touched a little bit about all of the renowned songs you've done. I remember an album that you did many years ago called Man Sid.
Oh, Man Sid, yeah.
Yeah, which is quite a famous album for you.
Extremely good fun. Got married, had kids.
As you do.
Then my kids would go to nursery school. My wife and I would go to the nursery school and do music sessions. And eventually I got kind of bored with singing Wheels on the Bus, wonderful songs there they are, and Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star, from Pat, and Fireman Sam. Although I didn't mind I thought Fireman Sam was a good theme tune.
Yeah, that's not bad.
He was, because he's always on the scene, and his engine's quite clean. It wasn't perfect. It was quite clean. It was just, I thought it was good. So then I started writing some kids' songs, because I'd always written songs. Anyway, nothing particularly great, but I'd always written some. So I started writing a few kids' songs, mainly to stave off the boredom of singing Postman Pat and Wheels on the Bus over and over again.
Yeah.
And that got quite popular. And a friend of ours who worked at a special school said, "Would you come and sing these songs of yours to the kids?" So we did that. And then somebody else wanted us. So for a while, built a career. Instead of driving up and down the motorway in bands, I built a career out of going to schools and doing sessions during the day, which is great, because that meant I could be at home with my kids in the morning, and when they got back from school in the evening. So it was more like a normal life. So so the parenting side of it was going okay. Then a few years after that, I started doing the odd theme tune for TV. I've always written stuff, and I had a little recording set up at home, and I got asked to do a couple of theme tunes. And then one of the guy that I'd done some work for, he produced a show called Jay's World that I did the theme tune for. That was a puppet thing.
Right, yeah.
And he said, how many songs have you got? And I said, "Oh, I've put about 30 kids songs." And he said, "Could you write another 30?"
Oh, wow.
And I said, "Yes," because I've got this habit of saying yes to things.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I'll do that. I can do that.
Yeah. I'll just do your podcast, Sean.
Yeah. And they said, "Oh, well, we've got this TV show starting on Channel 5. And we'd like you to be a part of it." So I thought, "Oh, great, a proper gig."
Yeah.
And that's how I got into being a presenter on Channel 5.
Wow.
I mean, I take it, have you seen the program? Have you seen?
No, not really. Only
There's
500,000 times.
There's a few bits. Oh, yeah, I have. Right, okay.
500,000 times.
Oh, okay, right. Well, there's bits on YouTube.
Yeah, it was one of my absolute favourite
Oh,
programs.
was it? Oh, great. Okay, that's nice to know. That's nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
You got a bit worried then.
Well, I thought, I mean, not
If
everybody.
he hasn't seen it, then what's he talking to me for?
You might have heard of it.
I might have heard of it. It was award winning at the time, so I might have heard.
Really?
It was.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
What award did it win?
I don't know. I just look on Wikipedia. It says award winning, so I don't know.
Oh, well, this is educational for me as well then.
Right.
Yeah. So basically, I got hired to be the music part of that.
Yeah.
Which is nice, and then and wrote a shed load more songs.
We must explain what we're talking about here because we are talking about Havakazoo.
Havakazoo.
Yes. In case people think, what is
that? I mean, I've written some themes and some music for other ones.
Yeah.
That's the only one I've actually sort of been in.
Right.
Actually, and because it wasn't that much hard work because I was acting myself. I mean, it was all scripted, and you had to learn the script. But it wasn't too much of a strain because the character I was playing was me. It was, basically as a musician, it was always work. Yeah. Except with these other people, with Jason and Gabrielle and the robot Messi, puppeteer by the wonderful Joe Greco. So basically, I just had to come up with a load more songs, and 3 minutes of each program were taken up with me performing the songs.
Yeah.
I mean, the original idea of the songs, a lot of them were action songs, which you used to do in schools and in special schools, and that was always nice for kids because, even if kids aren't too capable singing wise, they can follow the actions.
Absolutely.
So you can learn these things on different
levels. The parents
levels.
can teach them then as well. So
some of the songs had sign language in, and Havakazoo, but very, very simple stuff because I wasn't an expert at that. Mm-hmm. So that was kind of good as well. And of course, and they let me do those songs on Havakazoo. Didn't always do all the actions. Sometimes just sort of perform, sit with the guitar and perform the songs.
Yeah.
And they built me like a little studio, so I had lots of instruments. I had a double bass there, and a trumpet there, and a trombone there. So I could, on some of the shows, I demonstrated various other instruments, and a sampler and keyboards and stuff like that. But yeah, it was enormously good fun. I mean, and it was fun working. The other guys were great. I mean, Jason was an absolutely genius juggler. I mean, absolutely brilliant. I mean, absolutely quite astonishing. And Gabrielle was just brilliant at making things. And Joe Greco as Messi kept seeing, especially during rehearsal. He was funny as Messi, but in rehearsal he was a hoot. I mean, we were just brilliant, isn't he? Yeah. We were laughing all the time in rehearsals. Sometimes we had to get, okay, we got to get serious now.
I can imagine. It certainly came off on camera.
Yeah, and of course, and things will go wrong. Sometimes, like you'd be filming it.
Yeah.
Filmed about 3 shows a day. And that's quite a lot of space to fill at quite a fast rate. I remember once we were filming. The storyline was I got a new mobile phone, and with this mobile phone, I was going to get lots and lots of work. So I'm saying to Jason, "Hey, look, Jason, I've got this new mobile phone. Oh, you wait. I'm going to get a ring, and I'm going to get a really good gig." Yeah. And it was supposed to ring, and it didn't ring. It was supposed to be the sound effects were supposed to make a ringing noise, and it didn't happen. And Joe was stood there and going, nothing. And that happened 3 times in a row. So the producer is tearing his hair out, trying to make it work. And eventually it rang. But by this time, Jason and I were laughing. We couldn't keep space.
Oh, right. So magic of things as live back then,
Look, it's ringing, and it's going to be a big gig,
It's very authentic, though, to come across like that. You can tell it's live.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so it rings, and it's not a big gig. It's my mum, phone to make sure I'm wearing my vest.
Right. Yes.
And it was just,
Put a shirt on Onslow.
Yeah, I was. Yeah, yes, it was. But it was fun doing it. They're a great bunch of people, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. So,
So you spoke to us. You touched a little bit about all of the renowned children's songs, Spaceman Sid. There's quite a few songs on there, including the Havakazoo theme tune.
the original one of that.
Originally started out as that.
Yeah,
look, I don't even have to give him an introduction.
Play a bit of that. The original one was something like, "We are the band, the early birds band. We had to set the drummer because he didn't understand that we might go toot when we should go bang. Havakazoo, Havakazoo, Havakazoo." And we were discussing, because they hadn't named the program at that point.
Right.
And we were in rehearsal, and they still hadn't got a name for it. And there were, there was lots of names being bandied around what to call it. And I said, well, I've got this song called Havakazoo, and the producer went, "That'll do. That's it.
As simple as that.
And we rewrote the song. Havakazoo, we are the crew. We don't know what we're doing here. We haven't got a clue, but we'll have some fun, etc., etc.
Yeah.
So that's how the Havakazoo theme tune came about.
Wow.
So,
all those years ago, and that was one of the very first programs to be broadcast for children when Channel 5 launched.
it was. I think we were almost the first thing.
Wow.
Was the Spice Girls.
Yeah.
A short thing about Spice Girls, and then I think we were the next thing on.
Yeah.
So I think it was 3 or 4 days a week. I can't remember.
Yeah.
3 or 4 days a week.
How does that feel to be groundbreaking?
It was great, but at the time, not that many people could get Channel 5.
Oh, I see.
The breach was quite limited.
Yeah.
After a couple of months, it got more and more.
Yeah.
When it first started, not everybody could get it. It was
yeah.
Yeah.
It always felt like a treat to watch you on Channel 5 because you had to get up really early in the morning before school to actually do it, to actually watch you. Otherwise, you'd miss you because there wasn't really a lot of media around it. It was just, if you watch it, you watch it. Yeah. Otherwise, you'd have to record it on the VHS tape.
I think it was one of those things so parents could put their kids, the kids will wake up early. You can put your kids in front of the telly and go back to bed.
Yeah, absolutely. We trust Uncle Vo to look after for a half an hour or so. And it was sticking to really something nowadays that we don't have, which is the kind of magazine style play school type program for children, which we don't have anymore because a lot of these programs are animated now.
Yeah, I mean there was an insert. There was Nosy, wasn't there? Which is
that's right.
Remember they used to go around sort of looking at interesting things.
Yeah.
So that was
children
good.
In the outside world. Yeah.
And Jason would do the Slugs World thing, and then there'd be the animal bit as well.
Right.
And then there was a story. Messi and his little pal, the elephant. Was an elephant. So the elephant and Messi with it was an elephant.
Remember, there was a dog.
That was after. That was after. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. So it was. You're right. It's a magazine kind of program. It was nice, and there was Gabrielle would do the make and do thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's always great because you could if you taped it you could do those things.
Yeah, absolutely.
You could
absolutely.
Yeah, and then since then, I've done the music. Not appeared in. There was a series called Jellykins.
Oh yes, yeah, I remember that.
And a pal of mine and I, Dave Lowe, and I did the music and the songs for that with Rick Mail.
Oh yes, yeah.
Sadly missed, absolute genius.
Absolutely.
And it was not long after Rick had a really bad injury. He'd had a crash on a quad bike, and he'd almost died then. I think he was really badly injured, and doing the Jellykins was his first gig back after the injury. So it's quite a gentle thing.
Right.
See, doing bottom and that was really very physical.
Yeah.
But the Jellykins was he was narrating the story. Didn't appear in it. He was narrating the story, so he just had to read the story and communicate with the characters. Yeah. So that was quite a gentle thing for him to do. And we did an album with all the songs as well, which is great. And he recorded some of those. So yeah, that was Jellykins. Then I did another thing called the Cubeez, which is still on in some parts of the world.
Oh, I do remember that. Yeah.
And I did the once again, not in it, but
right.
wrote the theme tune, wrote whatever songs were in it, wrote the background music. When they're all walking around, this background music. Yeah, so did a few things like that. I think then gradually after that, sort of started getting back into doing more what you call grown up work,
Yeah.
you know, playing in bands.
Yeah.
So, you know, there's various people that I play with now.
Yeah.
There's a fiddle player called Rick Sanders who plays with Fairport Convention, who have been around forever, and he and I do a lot of gigs.
Yeah.
There's various other sort of grown up musical things, which I still do. You know, I mean, tomorrow I'll be over in Bewdley playing, and Saturday I'll be in Birmingham with a pal of mine playing.
Yeah.
So,
well, before we talk a little bit more about the grown-up sort of adult world of performing, would you like to talk to me, Vo, as I do with most of my guests, about a little wee Vo Fletcher and what Vo was watching when he was young? Give me a little education, Vo.
Well, all right. When I was young, Popeye the Sailor Man.
Oh, wonderful.
Was on. Sooty and Sweep.
Absolutely wonderful.
On. Mr. Pastry was on.
As I mentioned, yeah.
Bill and Ben.
Yeah.
And Ben the Flap Hot Men. There was a lot of radio as well. I mean,
yeah.
I used to listen to the Goons with my dad because he used to like the Goons, you know, Milligan and Sellers and Seacon, that was phenomenal. I mean, that lasted into my childhood, into my teenage years as well, but I still love it.
Yeah.
So it's radio and TV. I mean, things like the Marx Brothers on TV, and then a bit later on, stuff like Round the Horn was tremendous radio, because TV in those days, when I was a lad, there was only one channel. I mean, you know, the BBC was it. There was only one channel, and that was only on a few hours a day. I can't remember. I don't know what time it started, what time it stopped, but there wasn't a lot. So we used to listen to more radio as well.
Yeah, I see.
You know?
I see.
And even then, I think there was the Home Service and the Light program. There wasn't even very much of that. So, so any music that was on, you were pathetically grateful for.
Yeah, yeah.
And I'd listen to anything. I mean, classical stuff.
Yeah.
But Uncle Mac's Children's Favourites would even occasionally play a little bit of blues.
Right.
So yeah, it was quite broad. You get a few things like that, and then of course when I started listening to, you know, Clapton and John Mayall and the Beatles and those guys, they would all, in their interview, the Stones especially, they would always talk about their influences, and Eric Clapton and Keith Richards would talk about people like Robert Johnson, who, you know, was long gone, you know, died.
Right. Yeah, that's sort of their era.
Yeah. So that sort of took you back into the old blues stuff. So when I was a teenager, I was not only into the modern, the Beatles and Stones and that sort of blues. You got into the early blues as well, the acoustic blues, because people like Eric Clapton and Jeff Beck would talk about it, and they talk about their influences.
Yeah,
which is good. But yeah, when I was but as a very young age, there wasn't an awful lot. I mean, Popeye the Sailor Man, as I say, who was based apparently on some character, a drunken sailor that went into a bar and caused a fight.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and his nickname was Popeye. He had one eye that didn't work properly, and they called him Popeye. And he used to come in and get drunk and cause a fight and talk about how spinach made him strong.
Oh,
and,
I see.
And Popeye the Sailor Man,
downing all the Guinness.
Yeah, I mean that's probably the booze talking.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it was based on something. Yeah,
Popeye.
Google it. You'll
good old Popeye. Well, yes, I'll absolutely find out. But good old Popeye. Well, it's nice to have a little trip with you down memory lane. Talk to me about your experiences in. I know you're not necessarily in the world of kids' TV now, but talk to me about your experiences of kids' TV nowadays compared to what it was back then when you were in it.
I haven't watched it for years. Because my kids are now 36 and 37, so they don't watch kids TV. I became unfamiliar with kids TV after I stopped being involved with it. I
see.
So I didn't really watch any.
Maybe that's when it went downhill slowly.
Yes, obviously, yes. Thank you for that. Yeah. I'll pay you later.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah,
I was aware of the stuff I was working on, like when it was Jellykins, I was aware of.
Yeah.
But yeah, I haven't really. I mean, I watch a bit more lately because I've got a granddaughter now.
Right. Okay.
So I watch a bit, and if I had to pick one, I'd say Bluey. He's very nice. Bluey is very nicely done.
That's the Australian program, isn't it?
And that's very good. Yeah.
Yeah.
she's into Bluey in a big way.
Yeah, lots of people are. It seems to be nowadays Bluey and Peppa Pig. I think because they are
Yeah,
very easy
she's
to
into,
dub
yeah,
in other languages, you can just, I mean, something like you mentioned, I mean, the hard work that went into Havakazoo, something like that now, although it would work because children, I believe, are the same. They're sponges, so they would just soak up whatever someone's teaching them. But I think it's the companies and the media that don't have the time and the resources to actually make kids TV like when you were in it.
yeah,
It's a real shame.
yeah. Well, I guess it costs more money.
Absolutely.
Whereas animation has got so good
Yeah.
nowadays that it's
Yeah.
that's pretty cheaper to do. I mean,
And the
when
people working it are getting younger and younger as well.
yeah,
So
I
it
mean,
was
when we did the Jellykins, that was quite groundbreaking at the
yeah,
time.
yeah.
But it used to take a long time to render it. I mean, it took a long time to make.
What was your role in that? Just remind me again of your role in it.
My mate Dave Lowe and I wrote the songs for it.
Oh, I see. Right.
Theme tune, the songs that appeared in occasionally. There was a CD of songs.
Yeah.
And we did the music, the background music.
Oh, I see. Right.
So it would start. There'd be the opening theme tune.
Yeah.
Then there'd be a little sort of whichever Jellykin came trotting along. There'd
Yes.
be a little
Yeah.
dabadoo dabadoo dabadoo, which we did.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
So
Okay.
and it was one of the style was what they used to call mousing.
Right.
In that when something happened in the action, you'd follow it musically.
Oh, I see. Right.
Because there's different ways of doing background music. You can play background music and it follows the general atmosphere. You know, if it's something bad is happening, you might make the music a bit doomy. And if something jolly is happening, you make it a bit more uplifting. But mousing, which takes its name from Mickey Mouse, and those cartoons, when something happens in the action, the music follows it exactly.
Oh, right.
If somebody falls over, you might get a wah 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 wah.
Oh, yes. Yeah, I know
That sort of thing. Which really so the Jellykins music was really mousing. It was pointing up every little aspect of the action.
Mhm.
So it was that style of thing, and the Cubeez was a similar sort of style.
Yeah, I remember them as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, very good. But all these programs, you had to get up very early to watch them. That's what I always remember.
No, I don't know if Jellies is on still any, but the Cubeez is still on in some parts of the world.
Yeah, I think they show it in likes of Canada and those sort of places. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Talk to me, you spoke about all the influences, that you had back in the day in terms of Eric Clapton and all of those big named, guitarists.
Yeah.
You can tell, with your guitar, how passionate you are about playing. And,
I do like to play. Well, I still do it. I mean, it's one of the,
exactly. Yeah.
I mean,
Well,
like I say,
you're still getting away with it after all these years and doing it well.
That's getting away with it. That's
Yeah, absolutely. But I love the fact when I was listening to this new album in particular, Beats and Blues, which you can download people and sample on his website. So do that now, because it is a cracking album. You've got lots of cross genres in there, ever so slightly just coming through. I can really feel, a sort of earthy country vibe to a lot of the songs as well, which is wonderful.
Yeah, well, and also, I mean, there's some country stuff, but there's also I sort of brought it up to date using the beats and the as well.
Yeah,
that was purely because of lockdown. Because I had this program. Well, I used to have a program. I don't know what you use for recording audio. I had a program called Logic Audio that I used to record in.
Yeah, I've heard of that.
And I had it, and that was on a Mac, and it only works on a Mac. Doesn't work on a PC. And my Mac picked up. So my son lent me a PC, but Logic didn't work on that, so I had to get some new software. And I got a thing called Ableton Live. Yeah. Which was excellent. But I had to learn it, and it's made for people that make dance music, because it's got this thing that enables you to play loops. It's kind of built for that. So it's a digital audio workstation and the loop player as well, all in the same program. It's almost like two programs in one. So I learned to use that, and that's what I used during lockdown, during my Wine O'Clock program. So I kind of got into that, and some of the songs from the album. Each time I did a program once a week, and I do a trailer once a week as well. So some of the songs on the album are the songs from the trailers, which I did making the loops. And I got into this thing where I'd have the Ableton running. I'd have Facebook running there so I could see what was happening. I had an iPad running to choose the loops. So I'd be playing and doing the loops at the same time, and that caused I had some train wrecks, I tell you.
Yeah.
I had some real calamities.
The joys of Facebook, yeah.
Really, like you'd change a loop, and the iPad would stop reacting, or you tap the tempo in.
Oh, I see.
It wouldn't play the right tempo. It'd play something else. Or you tell it to stop, and it wouldn't stop because the iPad had frozen.
Yeah.
I mean, there's anything.
The magic of doing things on your own.
And doing it live.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's nowhere to run, nowhere to hide.
And that's always joyous. The instant spontaneous reaction you get from live is fantastic, and the audience are a massive part of that. And I should imagine now, in 2023, as we are sort of on the other side of the pandemic as such, you can get out there and perform to audiences now, which must be a joy for you.
I mean, I did a couple of times try using the loop thing with a laptop live at gigs, right. And that just caused a few too many problems. Because with the things that went wrong at home in a controlled environment went wrong even more often in a less controlled environment.
Right.
So if I was at a gig and I had the laptop and the running Ableton and the iPad controlling it, there was more opportunity for things going wrong. Yeah. So it almost seems like the more bits of gear you've got, the more opportunity for unwanted comedy there is.
Yeah. Yeah.
So basically, anything that could go wrong did. So the issues I had with Ableton not stopping, not starting, wrong tempos, faders not working, when it was even more so live. So in the end, I just went back to playing just with the guitar, which is what I do now.
Well, it's all fun, isn't it? It's all in the name of fun. Yeah, absolutely. One of the songs on your latest album, God Only Knows, I thought was particularly a beautiful.
Yeah, that's as you know, that's a Beach Boys one, and it's not. I always say it's one of those songs that nobody in their right mind would try and do on their own, really.
No, right?
Because the original
doing it.
Yeah. So I did it.
Yeah. Just go against your own will. Yeah.
Well, yeah, just because it's completely different to the original.
Yeah.
Because and the way I do it is in 3/4. I did it do it as a waltz. Which isn't the way it was originally at all. Yeah. But that wasn't my idea. My pal Greg, Michael Gregory, great drummer,
right?
Greg and I play with. That was his idea because we used to do it as an instrumental. And Greg said, "Oh, hey, why don't we try it in 3?" And we went, "No, really?" And we did it, and it worked. So then I started doing. I started singing it in 3.
Yeah.
In 3 as well.
Yeah.
Which is it works. Yeah, I'm glad you like it. Thanks.
Yeah. Is there a genre of music that you maybe want to explore more that you haven't explored in your career yet?
Oh, blimey, that's a good question. No, I think I just want to get closer and better at what I'm already doing, which will entail progress.
Yeah.
Because the moments I enjoy most, and when the audience are really with you, and you're all of one mind in the room. So I think what I want to do is, rather than do anything different, I want to get more of that. So whatever I'm doing, whatever genre, and it's mostly acoustic guitar stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, when I play with Rick and Greg, or with Rick and Tommy and Ray, it's all acoustic based songs, maybe with more people, fiddles and harmonica or whatever. But so I think what I want to do, rather than improve technically, although I can always stand to improve technically, is get more of the feeling of being at one with the audience, of being at one with the other musicians.
Right.
It's that sort of overall joining together.
Right. Okay.
If you like.
Yeah.
Which does entail improving musically as well. But as for genres, I play a bit of jazz, but I'm not that great at jazz. It'd be nice if I played jazz better. I'm not gonna. That's not what I practice.
Right.
What I practice, I guess, is maybe just for solo gigs, because there's only me and I want to have a guitar solo, I have to play a guitar solo that will stand on its own without having other musicians backing me.
Yeah.
Which entails being quite full on the guitar. Because normally, if you're playing with somebody else, you play some chords, and then you carry on playing chords while they do a solo, or vice versa.
Yeah.
When you're on your own, you've got to stop playing the chords and then do a solo. So I kind of got to work within that. So improving on that is always an aim, and that's a gradual process. But I'm sort of getting better.
Absolutely.
I mean, I would hate to stop getting better.
Oh, I don't think you could possibly stop getting better.
You know, that would be dreadful to think that you knew it all.
Yeah.
Because there's always
something to learn. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
That's an interesting thought. All of a sudden, we just stop.
Yeah.
Stop getting better at what we do, and there's nothing more to do then. Yeah. Well, I'm learning by talking to you, so I'm getting better by the minute. Yeah. So
I've learned something, wouldn't I? I forgot what it is, but you said something I didn't know, and I've forgotten what it is. But never mind, I'm sure it'll come back.
Well, there you go. But yeah, so talk to me about Vo now. What are you up to? What are you doing? You know,
gigs. I mean, I've got several lineups that I work with. I do solo stuff.
Yeah.
I still work with Rick Sanders, Fairport Fiddle Player, and we work as a duo, work as a trio with Michael Gregory, and work as a quartet with two wonderful Geordie chaps. Tommy and Ray,
right?
Who were fantastic. Ray used to be in a band called Lindisfarne years ago, and Tommy plays with Joe Brown's band and Feast of Fiddles, and he was also in Lindisfarne for a while as well. And that band is called Silver Blues, so we're doing gigs with those. This weekend I'm playing with my old pal Loz Kingsley, who I've worked with for years and years and years and years. We'll be doing a gig in Birmingham. So yeah, it's a mixture. It's a mixture. I've got several people that I've got, got a few duos going.
Absolutely. With. And retirement's not an option for Vo Fletcher, is it? Anytime soon? No.
Couldn't retire. I know. Oh, blimey, no.
It's in your blood, music, isn't it? It's what you love. So.
Well, yeah. I mean, there's no reason to stop it. I mean,
well, the voice is still there, isn't it? It's still going.
Well, okay.
With the fisherman's friend intact.
Some might disagree, and yeah, I mean, there's no reason to stop, and I don't mind getting older either with it.
Right.
In fact, I prefer it to the alternative.
Yeah,
not getting old.
Yeah, has your music kind of changed then as you have gotten older, or have you always stuck to your roots?
I guess I'm still doing a lot of stuff I've done for ages, but I always try and keep new material coming in.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't want to be. I mean, there's some I still do some songs that I've done for a long time, but I'm always learning new songs.
Yeah.
Because I want to keep fresh. I would hate to get bored doing the same old stuff time after time. So I do keep it fresh, and I do keep new stuff coming in. Yeah.
Well, it's been incredible chatting to you, Vo. It's really
been fun. I enjoyed it.
Oh, I'm pleased you've enjoyed it.
Yeah, it's great. You did a grand job.
Oh, well, thank you very much. I'd like to think I try my very best. So if you want to sign us out in any way that you like, you can do a song.
All right, I'll do I'll do this one. This is one of my favorites. I often finish gigs with it.
Right.
Excuse me. It's called Don't Let Us Get Sick. And it's written by a guy called Warren Zevon, who was basically a very bad boy.
Right.
He's currently dead. He did too much of everything.
Okay.
He wrote amazing songs. So I'll leave you with this one. Don't let us get sick. Don't let us get old. Don't let us get stupid, all right. But make us be brave. Make us play nice. And let us be together tonight. The sky was on fire as I walked to the mill to take up some slack in the line. And I thought of my friends and the troubles they've had to keep me from thinking of mine. Don't let us get sick. Don't let us get old. Don't let us get stupid, all right. But make us be brave. make us play nice, and let us be together tonight. And the moon has a smile as it shines on the lake, and causes the ripples in time. And I'm lucky to be here with people I like, who causeth my spirit to shine. Don't let us get sick, don't let us get old, don't let us get stupid, alright. But make us be brave, and make us play nice, and let us be together tonight.